नमस्कार। आज का एपिसोड जो राइट एंगल है, इसमें हम चर्चा करेंगे जो आज का जो ताज़ा डेवलपमेंट जो चल रहा है, वो है, आप जानते हो कि वो दिल्ली को जो मार्च कर रहे थे वो पंजाब का फार्मर्स, उनको रास्ता में रुका गया है हरियाणा में। एंड लगभग दिल्ली इज़ लाइक वो जो चारों तरफ जो पुलिस ने बंदोबस्त किया है, लोगों का जो प्रॉब्लम हो रहा है वो एनसीआर रीजन के अंदर, वो आप ज़रूर दिन भर देखे होंगे। ये बहुत दुखदायक एक घटना है, क्योंकि अब देखिए, इन ए डेमोक्रेसी देयर ऑलवेज विल बी genuine in the demands of the people, and in a true democracy the government of the day must be sensitive to them and find out adequate or suitable measures. But ये जो measures जो any government that decision that will take, particularly when it is a central government, here तो वो पार्लियामेंट को सामने आके प्रदर्शन करना चाहते थे कि दिल्ली को जैसे ब्लॉकेड करेंगे। जैसे आपने देखे होंगे लास्ट टाइम जब 2021-22 में ये जो रास्ता रुक गया था, वो लगभग 13 महीना और 14 महीना रहे थे वो दिल्ली को घेराव करके। तो लेकिन जब सरकार होता है, दिस इज द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया, आपका जो डिमांड है गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया पर न कर रहे। कभी व्हेन द गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया विल बी टेकिंग ए डिसीजन, so that must be reflecting that decision, or that must be catering to the needs of all the Indians, right? In the main that यहाँ हमारा जो 141.4 बिलियन पीपल हैं, तो उनको ओवरऑल इंटरेस्ट में कोई भी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एक डिसीजन लेगा। तो सिमिलरली ये जो फार्मर्स बोल रहे हैं कि अगर उनका कोई डिमांड है, वो डिमांड को आई मीन कमिंग, बट देन उनका जो डिमांड है, वो जो डिमांड जो है, उस डिमांड्स में जो डिसीजन लिया जाएगा, कोई भी सरकार, भारत सरकार करेगा, वो भारत सरकार देखेगा उस डिसीजन में देश का सब फार्मर्स फ्रॉम ऑल ओवर द कंट्री, उनका हित के लिए वो डिसीजन है ना नहीं, और वो डिमांड है ना नहीं। सो आई एम गिविंग दिस इन अ बैकग्राउंड। these are the limitations of any government, these are the challenges of any government, rather that any government faces. So by keeping this thing in the background, let us come to what these farmers are demanding. Now they are from Punjab, and I think they say that some farmers from Haryana and western Uttar Pradesh, exactly same thing happened 2 years ago when वो जो घेराव किया गया था फार्म लॉज के खिलाफ, 3 फार्म लॉज के खिलाफ, which सरकार was forced to repeal. I'll come to that in a little later. तो ये जो लोग जो आके जो किए हैं, अभी तो जो incident that has been limited to this Punjab, they have not been able to cross to the Haryana so far. The point is, इन लोगों के साथ सरकार का तरफ से आप जानते होंगे 2 सीनियर केंद्र मंत्री ने भी 2 राउंड्स में बात किए थे। कल रात 12 बजे तक भी बात हुआ था चंडीगढ़ में। एंड व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट इज सेइंग, इनका जो 12-15 जो मेन डिमांड था, आउट ऑफ व्हिच 12-13 द गवर्नमेंट हैज ऑलरेडी एग्रीड। I mean, one of them included that जो लोगों ने, इन लोगों का कुछ फार्मर्स लोगों ने वो लखनपुर उत्तर प्रदेश में लोगों को मारे थे, कुछ लोग मर गए, तो जो केसेस था उनको आप हटाओ, इन लोगों को मुक्त करो, वगैरह वगैरह वगैरह। दैट मीन्स उसमें सपोज देयर आर 15 डिमांड्स, तो 15 डिमांड्स थे अकॉर्डिंग टू गवर्नमेंट, 12 डिमांड्स मोर और लेस द गवर्नमेंट हैज विदाउट एनी condition has agreed, तो बेसिकली 3 मेन डिमांड्स इनका रहता है। वन डिमांड है कि फार्म लोन वेव कर दो। दूसरा डिमांड है कि एमएसपी जो मिनिमम सपोर्ट प्राइस जो गवर्नमेंट ऑफ इंडिया तैयार करता है एवरी ईयर, तो उसको दैट शुड बिकम ए लीगल राइट। नाउ इट इज द एग्जीक्यूटिव डिसीजन, इट इज एवरी ईयर द गवर्नमेंट डिसाइड्स, बट दे वांट दैट इट शुड बी द लॉ ऑफ द कंट्री, so that government is always compelled to this mechanism of fixing the price, the minimum support price. Another I think third thing is that वो जो famous हमारा एग्रीकल्चरल साइंटिस्ट है जिनको बोला जाता है द फादर ऑफ इंडिया ग्रीन रेवोल्यूशन, एम स्वामीनाथन, जिनको अभी उनका मरणार्थ I think he expired, I think he passed away last year, but abhi recently the government of India has honored him with our highest civilian award of Bharat Ratna. तो उनका एक कमीशन एक्चुअली वो जो मनमोहन सिंह सरकार था यूपीए टाइम में, आई थिंक 2006-07 में उसको गठन किया गया था, एंड उनका जो रिकमेंडेशन यूपीए कभी इम्प्लीमेंट किया नहीं। Ironically, it is the Modi government which has implemented most of the recommendations of that Swaminathan commission, and that commission broadly had said that that MSP should be reflecting the total expenditure that a farmer incurs in producing a particular crop, be it wheat or be it rice, over and above 50%. Suppose a farmer spends 100 rupees in producing something, तो ये जो MSP होना चाहिए कम से कम 150 रुपया उसको मिले। That means 50 rupees at least he earns 50, that means 50% of जो उसने इन्वेस्ट किया है, लेबर दिया है, उसके पर उसको मिलना चाहिए। The government has done, but that is not uniform everywhere because of various reasons. But then to make it more to decide on that, I think the government last year 2022 set up a committee and invited these farmer organizations, their representatives to come, so that MSP determination process becomes more transparent and the decision becomes more or less uniform throughout the country. And सबसे हैरान का बात है, ये जब हुआ, ये जितने लोग आंदोलन कर रहे हैं उनका कोई भी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव गया ही नहीं। दैट मीन्स they do not want to participate, they do not want to do anything, उनका कोई responsibility नहीं, but we demand something. Anyway, that's a different thing, but the point is that on this there is always scope for further talks which the government is prepared to do. About this loan waiver, I think you must be knowing that every time whenever the election comes, every political party promises that the farmers loans must be waived, and they do waive, and the point is that it usually happens at particular state levels. That means the concerned state government does that thing, waives up the loan. But now that's why you see that particularly I think irrespective of parties, but then more आजकल वो कांग्रेस में राहुल गांधी जी जितने इलेक्शंस हुआ है मेरा ख्याल में लास्ट 4-5 साल में इन वेरियस स्टेट्स, इनका मेन हम आएंगे तो 26 घंटे के अंदर सब लोन वेव हो जाता है. तो माई पॉइंट इज दिस, आई रियली एम इंटरेस्टेड टू नो इफ the loan, and the Aam Aadmi Party particularly, as I am talking, these agitating farmers so far have been mainly from Punjab, and this Aam Aadmi Party, when they swept the election, or before that even in the Congress, when it defeated the Akali Dal, they all had promised to waive the loans. So that means they must have done something. Now the point is that if the state governments have waived the loan, then how come they are now demanding the central government will be doing it? So what happens? That means those loans that have been waived, उसके बाद भी फर्दर लोन लिए हैं एंड वो भी लोन चाहते हैं कि अब तो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट ने अभी सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट उसको वेव करे. डज दैट मीन सो? दैट मीन्स प्रिसाइजली व्हाट these people are demanding, that they will have more or less a right to take loans, and that loans are non-returnable. That means it will never be returned. They have to be paid for either by the state government or the central government. Now they are demanding the central government will do it, even after all the concerned state governments have taken some steps in this regard. Why I am pointing out these things? You see that how ridiculous, and I am using the word ridiculous and non-genuine these demands are, on the basis of which the so-called farmers are coming and want to seize Delhi. Now the third point, the MSP. This minimum support price, and its implementation. अब देखिए, what has happened is that every government, I doubt whether this MSP thing has got any parallel in any other country than India, in the sense that the government there determines how much the minimum price of a particular product or produce will be. And what happens here in India, these people, particularly these farmers from Punjab, Haryana and this thing, they want a captive market. Suppose the government decides a particular price. So these people, what they do in this, particularly the farmers from these three places, as I said, Punjab, Western Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, 99% they sell to the government. And who? That again this central government, for their that the FCI go down, that the government becomes the buyer. That means they want a captive market. They will be producing, and when they produce, as everything, the fertilizer is subsidized. That the government that again the government of India pays for it, because subsidized matlab, suppose if urea cost, suppose 100 rupees a kg, but it is distributed at 40 rupees a kg, this rest 60% the producer who it has to be paid for. So who pays? The government of India pays for it. So that is called subsidy. How long this subsidy business will continue and how long we can afford it, that is another contention. But what these people do, rather get, and as these farmers, the rich farmers, they don't pay any income tax. Then they get this subsidized fertilizer, and in Punjab the electricity, free electricity, because there is a groundwater, they extract water from the ground. So for extracting that you require pumps. So it is a free electricity, and then the water level has come down so drastically now in Punjab, that if the level doesn't come up, and I am again talking of the fertility of the soil there, both in Punjab and Haryana, because of these chemical fertilizers that these farmers use, really have ruined the quality of the soil also, and water level has gone down and down and down, so much so that people say, the scientists have already predicted that if this thing does not get addressed to, or is not stopped, then Punjab, God forbid, will be converted into a desert. So that's a different thing. What I am saying is this, subsidized fertilizer, free electricity, irresponsible water, depletion, and then you have this free, fund from the banks which are never to be returned, and you want demand that it will never be returned. More and more, first by state governments, now central government, and the new things now that you must have seen, that how they burn these, stables, and the environment, that pollution, that this entire, northern part of the country level, how it has, gone up. So all these things do not, even if one doesn't take into account all these things, that actually the government of India and the people of India in general are paying for, these people now say that there should be no corrective steps, and the MSP must be now a legal right. As I said, that legal right means every government, will be bound by it. You cannot, any decision regarding MSP for changing that, you have to go to the parliament, pass a law, amend the constitution if there is any need. So, is that, feasible? Can any, I am giving an example, which perhaps I expect you all will be understanding it better. In the sense, ये जितने सब फार्मर्स बोलते हैं कि हम प्रोड्यूस करते, चाहे चावल है, गेहूँ है, दाल है, ये सब क्यों है भाई? लोगों को खिलाने की, इनको अन्नदाता बोलते हैं ना, अन्नदाता बोलते हैं, बट इन द सेंस दैट दे आर देयर फॉर आम जनता ऑफ इंडिया टू कंज्यूम, राइट? द पॉइंट इज, when you are talking of aam janta, you are talking of 100, 0.4 billion, people of this, country. So when everything, goes up, so obviously when it will be sold in the market, the agricultural, prices also will, go up, isn't it? The whole point is, that's why what was, when that, goes up, a situation will come. For instance, I am telling you, because if it becomes a right which no, how any government will find it really, very dangerous to make it a legal right, because this MSP prices every year, goes up, it never comes down, and it cannot come down because the expenditure things, really go up. So I'll give you some statistics in this regard. For instance, it is before me, my colleagues have given. Let's not talk of paddy, धान. यूपीए सरकार का था 2009 to 2014, 5 years का बता रहे हैं, दो दे केम इन 2004. तब क्या था कि देश में जो एवरेज एमएसपी जो पैडी का था, ये पर क्विंटल था 1673 रुपीज एंड 56 पैसे. बट अभी 2022 तक जो दिया गया, अभी तो लास्ट ईयर भी दे इंक्रीज्ड, बट 22 तक जो है वो जो 1673.56 हैज बिकम नाउ the average जो MSP of paddy for quintal now has gone up to 3,492.79. That means it has more than doubled. For instance, suppose 2009 to 2014, the total MSP of the procured paddy was था 2 crores 28 lakhs 91,040 crores. 28 lakhs 91,040 crores. बट अभी 2022 में दैट फिगर आप देखिए 2014 में कितना था. दिस इज दी थिंग. यहां के पहुंच गया कितना 8 lakhs. 2,89,000 now has become 8,91,557.05 crore. The point that I am trying to make is because it constantly goes up. Every government, even if it is not a legal law, but because of by taking the sensitivities of the farmers into account, they have started it, and no government is going to stop this MSP business. Every government will be determining this MSP price every year. So that is in case of paddy. So similarly, in case of wheat, गेहूं, it was suppose average प्राइस था 2014 तक 2009 टू 2014 के बीच में 1395.18 पर क्विंटल. सो 2022 में इट हैज बिकम 2622, again more than doubled. And if we take the total expenditure up to 14, average था कितना 16,08,283.34 crores. That has now become total, agar if I take all these things into it, nearly 300%, it has gone up. It is 4,50,789.82 crores. So the point that I am trying to make is that this MSP is constantly going up and up and up. So imagine we make it in a legal right, and it is not, the commodities price is not controlled by the market. Usually जो market होता है किस साल ज़्यादा, अगर आप जानते हैं कि मार्केट जब बायर्स मार्केट होता है, सेलर्स मार्केट होता है, जिस साल अच्छा फसल होता है, काफ़ी प्लेंटी होता है, तो रेट कम हो जाता है. अगर कम होता है तो रेट बढ़ जाता है. तो बट इन दिस केस व्हाट विल हैपन, कोई मार्केट मैकेनिज्म काम नहीं करेगा. व्हाट द गवर्नमेंट हैज टू बाय, दे आर बाउंड बाय लॉ, लीगल राइट to determine the MSP, and the MSP figure, as I said, that is bound to go up and up and up. So imagine a situation may come. It is a globalized world. आजकल तो it is a globalization चल रहा है भाई. यहाँ का जितना है तो हम देख रहे हैं. Suppose I am just giving an example. चाहे पोटैटो, आलू. आलू क्या होगा अभी, एग्जाम्पल देता हूँ, जो लीगल राइट में क्या प्रॉब्लम होता है, एंड ये जो लोग जो डिमांड करते हैं. तो सपोज ये करते 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 आलू किलो हो जाएगा सपोज 50 रुपये. आई एम जस्ट गिवन एग्जाम्पल. वेयर एज नेपाल और बांग्लादेश, आई एम नॉट टॉकिंग ऑफ अमेरिका एंड ब्रिटेन और जापान एंड कोरिया और चाइना, जहाँ से इतना आसान था, बट वो आलू वहाँ मिलता है. MSP प्राइस हमारा हो गया 50 रुपया, बिकॉज ये लोग डिमांड कर रहे हैं. बट वो आलू वहाँ मिल रहा है 10 रुपया में कि 15 रुपया में. सपोज आई इम्पोर्ट इट, कोई सरकार इंपोर्ट कर देगा, उसमें अनदर 10 रुपया लग जाएगा कि अनदर 15 रुपया लगा जाएगा. तो मैं अगर ग्लोबलाइज्ड वर्ल्ड में रहूँ, इट मेक्स टू फीड माई पीपल इट मच बेटर टू import these things which can be at half the price that my own so-called these farmers are demanding, because वो तो बढ़ेगा ही बढ़ेगा, कभी तो घटेगा नहीं. प्राइस घटने का तो कोई सवाल ही नहीं उठता है. ये तो सब फ्री है, ये तो सब फ्री. अभी वो भी बोलेंगे उसको लीगल राइट कर दो. ये कुछ देर के बाद ये भी बोलेंगे कि ये जो बैंक में, मतलब कोई फार्मर विल हैव राइट टू गो टू द बैंक एंड डिमांड इतना पैसा दो, एंड वो पैसा देगा, एंड वो कोई लौटेगा नहीं. ये तो होता है जैसे कुबेर जी के पास गए, मांगे, लाए. ये भी लीगल राइट. अगर it is just the beginning. Everything, as I said, that these things are already bijli free, pani free. Now, paisa bhi free, fertilizer, free. Now आप अगर इसको डिमांड फिर भी आप बढ़ाओगे एमएसपी एवरी रेट में करके, अगर वो हो जाएगा, बढ़ेगा, whereas आपको बाहर से खरीद के लोगों को खरीदने के उसका आधा प्राइस पड़ता है, इससे बड़ा बिजार सिचुएशन कुछ हो सकता है क्या? एंड देन यू डिमांड दैट आप जो प्रोड्यूस करेंगे दैट इज द गवर्नमेंट, इट इज अ कैप्टिव मार्केट. ये जो पर्टिकुलरली जो फार्मर्स ये जो आ रहे हैं, ये जो बोल रहे हैं, ये कैप्टिव मार्केट है कि इसको भाई सरकार ही खरीदेगा. सरकार भाई फूड कॉर्पोरेशन गोदाम है ना नहीं, वही जो लॉ था कि कैसे उसको कोल्ड स्टोरेज होगा, प्राइवेट सेक्टर आएगा, रियल फार्मर, वो भी इन लोगों ने मना कर दिया करके जो किया है तो लास्ट टाइम, तो आपको उसको विड्रॉ करना पड़ा. सो द पॉइंट इज दैट which government, which responsible government can make the MSP a legal right and totally do away with the market mechanism that really determines the prices of commodities all over the world. So, but instead of that, what the government is saying, कोई as it is कभी कोई MSP बंद नहीं हुआ है, तो वो तो रहता है. तो let us make it more transparent and वो decide. And then अभी जो MSP है वो सब एग्रीकल्चरल प्रोडक्ट्स ऊपर नहीं है, ये ज़्यादातर मेरा ख्याल में वो पैडी, गेहूं, आई थिंक दे डोमिनेट. And so why only you will get there? All sorts of products are there agriculture, but that is not the only product. So why there is no MSP, on all, but you want particularly on this? So to making it more transparent, etc. When the government is saying that, but you do not go and attend those meetings. Was a committee meeting jab hua, but you demand this and you say that it becomes my legal right. So that brings me to the last point that I want to say. Actually, do these so-called farmers represent India's farmers overall? For your instance, last time जब ये घेराव के तो 13 महीना कि 14 महीना जब रहे, matter had gone to the Supreme Court. I am talking of this agitation towards the repeal of these 3 farm laws. As you know, the matter had gone to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court then constituted an committee of experts, agriculture experts, and plus some farmer organizations, representatives, to go deep into the issue and find out whether those laws were really bad. And you'll be surprised to note that because it became it became irrelevant, because before Supreme Court decided on the basis of this committee's report, the Modi government really, I do not know, that was one of the very wrong decisions on the part of this Modi government. They repealed it. They repealed the thing. But what this committee of experts, they had I think more than thousands of meetings they had conducted, talked and decided, elaborated the subject with many people, including the farmers. I think more than lakhs and lakhs of farmers, I think were involved in that entire process. And do you know what they found out? They found out that as many as 87% of the Indian farmers were happy with the farm laws. But what happened? The government succumbed to the pressures and agitations of these 13%. 13% of these farmers from Punjab, Haryana and Western Uttar Pradesh. So, do they represent actually these farmers? Do they represent the overall farming community of the country? And even inside these, three states, how much, support they have. For instance, they said, you must be knowing that immediately the election to the Uttar Pradesh were, held. Yeah. And, Mr. Tikayat and Jat's land and what not, they said that, the BJP and Yogi government will be thrown out like anything. But the results, again, you saw what happened. In fact, there was a constituency, that is called the by-election Elenabad in Haryana. That is the nerve center of this farmers' agitation those days. So the by-election was held. There the BJP candidate, gained, 60,000, more, votes. So they don't, represent the people there. But they come, seize roads, and they are basically dalals, the middlemen. They come and, they give and they demand as if the entire, farming community of the country is, behind them. Nothing can be more untrue than that. I only expect the Modi government must not come under the pressure and will not commit that blunder that it really was forced to do last time by withdrawing those 3 farm laws which were actually wonderful for the welfare of the farmers of the country. So today let me rest here. Thank you very much. Namaskar.